Hey all, how's it going? Let me know right off the bat if you guys can hear me. We want to make sure that there's no tech stuff going on tonight. So let me know if you guys can hear me, and then I will start with the roll call. Just need to make sure that yeah, perfect. Thank you, Laura. All right. So we're on a Sunday night tonight because I was out in the field. You'll be hearing more about that in a few days. So stay tuned about what happened. Man, we got 50 people right off the bat. You guys are great. This is Bigfoot Encounters live from Bigfoot Society. My name is Jeremiah. I'm your host. We do a live show every week, usually on Saturdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. This week's on Sunday, and I'll show you in a little bit how you can call in and share your encounter live, and we might be hearing from a special other guest as well tonight, but I want to do the roll call real quick. So first in is Laura. Hey, got here early. Please, everyone, hit the thumbs up right when you start watching. I appreciate that. We also got Bobby Yance in the house, channel member. Great to see you. Hello, Jeremiah and friends. We got Leanne. Good to see you. Jeffrey's here. Greg. Howdy. Just a YT channel. I love this stuff. Jeff says, thank you. Thanks for having us, Jeremiah. You man. Thank you. We got Roger here, Squatch and Holler. Great to see you. He's the guy that keeps this in the straight and narrow, as it were. You can see the little wrench next to his name. Appreciate that, friend. Lewis is here. Great to see you. Let's see. We got Rocky Toppin. Great to see you, pal. We got Mr. Tate. Always great to see you, friend. We've got Slaya, YouTube channel member, also Patreon subscriber or Patreon member as well. What talking? You guys are already talking about some things going on in the chat. I love that. We've got who else? Hey, we got Pat McFarland here. Great to see you, friend from a few towns over. Also, Pat is one of the first YouTube channel members. He is one of the first ones. I appreciate that, Pat. Glenn, great to see you from Halifax. Slaya's from Montana. Now, great to see you. Leanne, thanks for the effort you put forth. I appreciate that. We got some guy named Robin. I don't know what his deal is. Just kidding. Hey, bud. Good to see you. Oh, it's funny. Robin's a great guy. Sherry, good to see you. John Boy, hope things are good at your neck of the woods down there. You know where. Great to see you. We've got Hike with Mike. Great to see you. Philip. Guys, I didn't even open up the lines. We're gonna hold off because we haven't gotten through. You guys are raring to go. We got Deborah. We got Red Dirt Cryptids from down there in Oklahoma. Sam D 440. Cynthia, hello from Oregon. Great stuff. Tate, if you wanted to call in, now would probably be a good time because it's going to get really busy right off the bat. So Tate, if you want to call in and do what we were talking about earlier, it might be good if you can do it. Right. Let's see who else we got here. Flying Horse Spirit, greetings from Northwest Pennsylvania. Awesome. Good stuff. We got WC Strawberry Fields, Northern New Mexico. Let's see. We're up to 64 people. Tate, last chance. If you wanted to call in and talk about some stuff, this is the time to do it, my friend, because I don't even have the call in thing. Dude, just call my normal number. Tate's got the he's got the hookup. Actually, I am going to Tate, I'll just call you directly. How about that? Here we go. Here we go. Okay, let me know real quick if you can hear Tate.
I can hear you.
Okay. Good. Let me make sure to see
If everybody,
yeah, I'm waiting to see if someone can hear you on the other side real quick. We're gonna give it a minute. Loud and clear. We're
we'll
good.
do it.
All right, Tate.
Oh,
Tate, good old Tate Hieronymus. You reached out and you were like, dude, I want to do a little update. And I said, I want you to do an update. Let's go for it, man. What's going on?
I gotta do an update. Yeah, so I didn't post a video this past month, which was May. But now I got couple commentary episodes I'm going to be posting for the Sabe series, and I literally just shot one this past month in May with RPG, my good buddy Ron Reed of Trailing Giants, myself. We were out there in the Everglades of South Florida doing some filming out there, so I got that currently being edited. So I'm pretty excited about that. So, yeah, I just really wanted to update everybody about that and let your listeners know.
That's awesome.
I have new content coming out.
That is great, guys. If you are not subscribed to Tate's channel, make sure you are. He puts out some solid info, solid documentary episodes, and Sasquatch: A Search for Sabe is a great documentary series. If you haven't seen the Iowa episodes, I recommend it because I'm in them.
Jeremiah loves talking about how he's in my
dude.
series.
I do. But I'm glad to talk to you. We just talked earlier. There's some wild stuff going on, but we'll talk about that more later. But
tell me what happened in Iowa. So as you said, you're gonna spill the beans on that later.
Eventually, yeah, and eventually, Tate, we'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, it was wild.
I was implying eventually.
Oh yeah.
But one thing I'll say before I finish updating is, I don't know if I'm going to make an episode out of it or not, but I do plan on returning to the Ocala Bigfoot Conference this month.
Okay.
Which is, I want to say June 8th. It's a Saturday. So this coming Saturday, I'll be in Ocala at the Ocala Bigfoot Conference. So if any listeners are on here and you're in Florida, try and find me. I'll be out there hanging out with some good friends of mine.
That is fantastic. People should definitely track you down. I'm glad that we were able to chat for a few minutes, but Tate, I gotta get moving. We got people that are raring to go. I went ahead and put your YouTube channel in the comments or in the live chat so people can check that out. But thanks for chatting tonight, buddy.
Good stuff. I'll join and listen to the rest of the episode as long as I can.
All right. Thanks, man. Talk to you later.
All right, later.
All right. So let me do the spiel first, guys. If you want to call in this is a show specifically for people to call in live with their Bigfoot encounters. It's a place for you to share. It's live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And it is also recorded, potentially used for the podcast, more than likely. Let me get the Tate banner off there. There we go. So here's what you got to do in order to get the phone number, unless you already have it. You have to go to bit.ly/Bigfoot forum. You have to fill out a guest release that allows me to record you and also potentially use you in a future episode. At the end of filling out the form, you'll be given the phone number to call in. Not the hardest thing to do. You guys can do it. I know you can do it, but I've got people to call back already. So, guys, I was in the field in an undisclosed location in Iowa, which more is coming about that in a few days. So hold on. I'll be putting out some stuff, but I was in the field looking for Bigfoot stuff with my kid, and I had people calling my phone trying to share their encounters last night, and the show wasn't even going on. So this show is getting crazy. We're up to 100 already. We're ready to rock. I appreciate y'all being here. Let me go ahead and give a call back. Let me look at this guy's. Let's see. I need to. Oh, wow. I'm reading this guy's voicemail real quick. Okay. We've got an Oregon call. I'm going to call this guy back real quick. Let's go for it. And as always, in the live chat, if you can let me know if you hear the individual as soon as possible, then we can get going.
Hello?
Hi, this is Jeremiah.
Hey, Jeremiah, how you doing?
I'm doing great. You had called earlier, right, sir?
Yes, sir. I left a message.
Perfect. And I assume since you have the phone number, you'd done the form at an earlier time?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And what's your name, sir? Mark?
My name is Mark.
Awesome. Well, Mark,
You need my last name?
No, we'll just keep it at Mark, but I appreciate that. So I was skimming through your voicemail, and it's very interesting. And I'm going to go ahead and give the reins over to you, Mark, and feel free to share what we've got going on. All I ask is that we keep the calls as clean language as we can, since it is live. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I do that. Yeah, no problem there at all. Okay.
Go right ahead, sir.
All right. Yeah, my name is Mark, and I'm from Oregon, Florence, Oregon. And I've been in Oregon now for 12 years, and I'm originally from Ohio. Matter of fact, right down in Zanesville, Ohio, where Salt Fork is, state park where the Grassman is. I had an encounter there. I didn't really see him there, but I knew he was there, and me and my girlfriend went camping, and it was in the end of October. And in October, we have Indian summer there, and it was a very nice weekend. So we decided we'd stay over one more night. Well, everybody left. It was a Sunday, and everybody left. I mean, there was not one person in this whole park except me and her. Well, I'll make it real quick. We went down to take a shower, and when we pulled in, it didn't feel right. Something was just not right. So she got out of the vehicle, and she went in. She was taking her shower, and you could hear her in there singing, and I thought, well, it's just me. It's my imagination. And so I said, all right. Well, I went in and take my shower, and there's windows up, and they're like 7-8 foot up, these line windows. And I don't know. It just felt like something was watching me the whole time. I just could not shake this feeling. I mean, it was kind of scary. And so I went back out and walked the whole perimeter of it and just looked around to see if somebody was there. It was weird. So I had my dog with me. He was a wolf hybrid, and named Dakota, and he was this dog was the best dog. I just can't tell you. I mean, man's companion. Well, anyway, I got him out of the truck, and I took him into the restroom with me because, I mean, I just couldn't get this feeling off of me. So I brought him in the bathroom, and I said, now you just lay down there. Well, he couldn't get comfortable. He was just looking around, and I could tell something was bothering this dog. So I got in the shower, and I tell you how bad it was. I didn't even close the curtain in the shower when I was taking my shower. You know, it was that bad. It was that intense. So I got done, you know, I take the dog out, you know, and I throw him back up in the truck, and I'm sitting there waiting on my girlfriend to get done in the shower, and, you know, and out she comes out of the shower, you know, and I wasn't going to say anything to her because I didn't want her to be scared, you know, and, I was like, no, I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to just go back to camp. Just, you know, it's all in my head. That's what I kept saying to myself. It's on your head, Mark. It's on your head. So we go back and we make our dinner and, you know, sat around the campfire for a little bit, drank a couple drinks and, you know, said, okay. Well, we had an old Coleman tent. I don't know if you'll remember them, but they were round and they had the pole that went up in the center. And it's about, 7 foot tall, maybe a little bit taller than that. I could stand up in it, you know, no problem, move my arms around, you know. And, I mean, it's really tall. So I got everything in the tent, you know. I packed all the food up in the truck and, you know, went in the tent, laid there. And I had my pistol with me. I always take it because bears and, you know, whatever, varmints, or you don't know, you know, anymore about people. So I put the gun down next to me. Well, I had the Coleman lantern next to me, so it was right next to the edge of the tent, so I shut it off, you know. Well, we're laying there, and I hear something walking up this hill. I mean, it was a big hill, too, went right down to the lake. And I'm like, well, that's a person walking. And my girlfriend's like, no, it's a deer. No, that's something walking up this hill coming toward us. Well, it got closer and closer and closer, and my dog was his hair was up on the back of his, you know, just standing right up on the back of his neck. And I'm like, there's something out there. But I told him, you lay down, you know, just chill out, lay down right there. Well, you know, we're laying there for a minute, and all of a sudden you could hear it come up to the top where our tent was, right next to it. And you could hear it breathe, exhale, and you could tell whatever it was huge, okay? And I'm like, shh, be quiet, shh. And my girlfriend was almost in tears. She was so scared, you know? And I said, shh, just be cool, you know? Well, next thing we know, something had grabbed the center of that tent, and that tent's 7.5 foot tall, grabbed the center of that tent and shook it, just shook it. And I swear to God, it only lasted maybe 20 seconds, but it felt like 2 hours. And the Coleman lantern hit me in the side of the head. It was hot still, you know. I just shut it off. And so I grabbed my pistol and I said, I got a pistol. Go away. I'll shoot you. Because I didn't know if it was a person. I didn't know what it was, but I know it was big, whatever it was, right? So it started slapping the side of the tent. And by this time, my girlfriend's in tears, just going hysterical. The dog's going crazy. I mean, it was just like, oh, what am I going to do here? So I said, well, I got to do something. I reached down to grab the zipper of that tent. And you know how it's always got that little part in it, the nylon that locks into the zipper? Oh, I was doing everything I could to unlock that zipper so it'd raise up and open up so I could get out. So by this time, I'm hearing it going back down the hill, okay? And I told her, unzip this tent, do it. I was just going to rip it open. I didn't care at that point because I was so scared. I mean, I would shot it right there on the spot, you know, if I could have got out. Well, pretty soon she got it unzipped. I jump out, and I'm hearing it going down the side of the hill, and the dog takes off after it, and I hear it yelp. My dog yelp. Well, here he comes running back, and he dives into this tent, and it's like, wow, what is wrong with you? This dog was not afraid of nothing. This dog would take on a mountain lion and not even think nothing about it. He was just protected. I mean, he's a wolf. Well, so I said, well, what was that? You know, what was that? Well, I jump out. I'm looking for tracks, you know, and stuff. We never could ever find out what it was. It was dry. It was so dry out. It wasn't going to leave a track, you know. It was so dry. And so that was my first encounter with a Bigfoot. Okay, well, the grass man, they said, because I talked to Ranger when Ranger came around to collect the dues for the campsite. I said, dude, I think we had an encounter. And he's like, well, you know, we have a lot of encounters here. And I was telling him about it, you know. He's like, well, I really do believe you really did. And my girlfriend said, we're packing up now. Let's leave right now. And she would not stay there again. We packed all our stuff up, went home. Well, we moved to Oregon about 3 months later, and there was no jobs here at the time. I mean, the market for jobs was really bad at the time. And I said, well, what am I going to do to make money here, extra money or something, you know? Because I'm retired from Honda Motor Corporation. I was an automotive engineer there. And I said, so what am I going to do? And some guy said, oh, dude, go collect chanterelles. They pay, you know, good money. Well, I've always collected morel mushrooms in Ohio my whole life, you know, and all kinds of mushrooms, but I didn't know what a chanterelle was, so they had to show me. Well, I got a crew together of 9 Mexican women that works for this lady, and she said, oh, these are great pickers. Take them out, you know, take them out. I'll give them to you. They're great workers. So we went out mushroom hunting, and we'd go on all the back roads, all that. And we did very, very, very well. We had a crew of 9, you know, them and me, 10 people. And we did very well commercially picking these. Well, one day we were over by Alpine, Monroe area, and in Oregon, and was up on the hill. And they were the women were all down below the hill down because we found a lot of chanterelles all the way up the side of this hill, and they were just having a blast picking these things, laughing and having a good time. Next thing I know, I was up on the top of the hill because I wanted to see what was on the other side, and there was a clearing, you know, where the trees ended, you know, and then they had logged this part and there's trees up here. Well, pretty soon there was a roar, and I'm not kidding you. This roar was like nothing I've ever heard in my whole entire life. It shook me up a minute, and I was like, "What is that?" And next thing I know, this thing was coming through the trees. I mean, it was big, whatever it was, and I thought, "What is that?" I didn't know. I didn't have any idea. You know, I'm from Ohio. You know, we don't have nothing like that there. You know, well, we do. We have the grass, man. But anyway, this thing was coming up through the trees like King Kong. I swear to God, that's exactly what it reminded me of. It was just knocking limbs down, breaking limbs, breaking trees. You know, just coming up out of the clearing. Next thing I know, there he was, right there. I mean, he was probably 30 yards from me, if that much. And all I had on me was a Glock 9mm, you know, and I knew this was not going to do anything to this. This thing was huge. It was probably a good 8 foot. I mean, I've never seen no man ever built like this in my whole entire life. His chest was huge, probably I swear he had to be at least 4 foot wide. I mean, just huge. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And my mind is like, it's like telling me, this don't exist. This don't exist. This is a figment of your imagination, Mark. I mean, I just couldn't get it in my head what I was looking at. Well, these ladies down below that were picking the mushrooms, they all were like real quiet, pointing at it. They had their telephones. They were taking pictures of their telephones, and I mean, they were like flipping out. Well, he's looking right at me and never took his eyes off me, and I'm staring back at him like, what is going on here? What are you going to do? You know, are you going to come at me? I had no idea. I couldn't. My brain just would not function. It would. Number one, I tell you honest God truth, I peed my pants. I was that scared. I didn't know what to do. I mean, the van's way down at the bottom of the hill where they were. So I'm screaming at them, get in the van. Get in the van right now. Well, my dog was in the van because we were having problems with deer and elk, and he'd take off running after the deer and elk, and I got tired of that. See, now you're in the van until you can act right, you know? Well, he's raising holy cane. Just holy cane in this van. And I told him, don't let that dog out. Do not let that dog out. Well, this thing just started looking at me, and then it started coming at me. And it was like, now what am I going to do? He's going to kill me. I'm going to get killed right here. You know, what am I going to do? Well, I took my gun, and I mean, I shot it right over its head. Just right over its head. I mean, that's all I could do was hopefully get a shot that would wound it or hurt it, because he was going to kill me. I know he was going to hurt me bad if he got me. Well, he reared back when I shot that gun, and his teeth. I mean, the look he gave me was, dude, if I get a hold of you, I'm going to hurt you bad. Okay? He was not afraid, but he was afraid of that gun. So he must have heard it once before. So he had to have heard a gun once before, because he reared back. Okay? Next thing I know, he's turning around, but he's keeping his eyes on me as he's walking back up into those trees, right? So I said, okay, now I don't want to run because I don't want him to chase, you know, a predator chases you. That's exactly what he was, as far as I was concerned, was a predator. He was a wild animal. He wasn't a human. I mean, he looked human in ways, like the face. I mean, he was brown, like a brown, or like a brown black. You know, he was so brown he was black, and he had the hair on like 4-inch hair all over his body, except for his face. And his eyes, I'll never forget his eyes as long as I live, and I still have nightmares over it. They were like piercing me. They were like going right through me. I mean, I've never seen eyes like that in my whole entire life. Never, never, never. Don't ever want to again either. Okay? And I'm thinking, you know, I always wanted to see Bigfoot, but I didn't want to see it like this. You know, I didn't know it would be an aggressive thing. I thought it'd be like, you know, when you hear people talk, oh, yeah, he crossed the road right in front of me, you know. Just like, yeah, he's probably waving at you as he's doing it. He's probably a friendly guy, you know, just wants to be left alone, okay? And it's not this one, huh?
Hey,
no.
Mark, can we ask some questions about what you saw? Is that okay?
I'm sorry. Yes, yes.
So there's some really interesting comments coming in. So you were able to see the teeth? Were they like canine teeth or all flat like chiclet gum?
They were like block teeth, like a block teeth. You know, like a you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
They were square block.
Yep, that's a great question.
Let me tell you, he showed me every one of them. Okay. Okay. I mean, I grew up in the woods. I've been in the woods my whole entire life. When I was a kid, summer, June 1st would be there, and well, I wouldn't see my parents again until August.
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, I hunted, I fished, I did everything in the woods. Okay. My whole life I've been like that. And it's like I've never seen anything like this. What is this thing? And then it dawned on me. This is what they call Bigfoot.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, these ladies in the van were so scared. I mean, they were screaming and stuff, and then I had them screaming. I had the dog going off down there. I have him growling and screaming at me like he wants to kill me. Okay, after he come through the woods like King Kong. Okay, I mean, I was scared. I'm not telling. I won't lie to you.
Right.
I'm not. I was petrified. Okay, I'm thinking, well, I gotta save them. Okay, I gotta save myself. But I'd much rather he got me than all 9 of them, because he gets me. The keys are in the ignition. They will leave. Okay. All right.
Sure.
Well, so when he left, you could hear him just raising Cain going back through the trees, right? Well, somebody let the dog out. Okay, I couldn't say grab the dog, but the dog's chasing this thing down the trees. And I'm hearing holy Cain going on with this dog, and him is at it. Okay? And I'm thinking, oh my God, he's going to kill my dog. He's going to kill my dog. Next thing I know, all I heard was a yelp, and they heard nothing else.
Oh, no.
Okay? Yeah, dead quiet. Well, I couldn't leave these women down in the van, so but I knew the dog would come out eventually. If he didn't kill him, he was coming out. So I went down to the van and I told him, "Look, I want you to go find a park ranger, a police officer, or somebody, and I want them up here. Okay, my dog's gone now, and I got to find my dog." And they were like, "Oh, we're so scared. We're scared." I said, "Take the van and find somebody." Okay. Well, I mean, I had my cell phone, but there was no service where we was at. I mean, we was in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So I said, just go to the ranger station and get somebody, or find a police station, and go to Monroe. They have a substation there, Well, they went and I stood there for a minute thinking, oh, I got to find my dog. I got to get the dog. He's not out yet, So I took off to find him, and I went in about 50 yards, and I still cry to this day, because this dog was the best dog I ever had in my life. Here's my dog. He's hanging from a limb about 12 foot up. Okay? Dead. And I was like, you have to be a pretty strong thing, human, animal, whatever you want to call this thing, to throw that dog. He weighed 126 pounds up 12 feet into a tree. Okay? And then I look around, and the rims for like a semi that they use for the fire pit?
Mm-hmm.
There was 2 of them up there. Now, you know how heavy those are? Now, I'm looking at those going, what the heck? And it was like a picnic pavilion type thing that was up there for, I guess, somebody built it for their family, and they probably camped there a lot. They used it, when they went camping there, This thing was demolished. It was tore up. And there's these 2 fire rings in this tree. And they're about 10 foot up there, and there's my dog. So about, probably a half hour later, here they come, and they've got a park ranger, a ranger, a DNR guy. And I said, "Sir, can you come here? I got to show you." I said, "I'll tell you the story." And you know what he tells me? This is what he tells me. please don't tell me you saw a Bigfoot, because if you do, he said, now, I don't know if this is fact or not, but he said, if you do, then I'm going to have to take your driver's license.
What?
Now, I'm going to have to take your driver's license because you're not sensible. You're not thinking correctly. I said, what are you talking about? My driver's license? Yeah, I don't know if it's true or it's not. I've tried to find out from every state highway patrolman I can talk to about it and stuff. They said they can take your driver's license if you report you saw a Bigfoot while you're driving a vehicle. If the keys are in ignition, then there's something wrong with you. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. I said, wait a minute, look at my dog. My dog's 12 feet in the air, and I measured it. My dog's 12 feet in the air, 126-pound dog. How'd my dog get up there? It had to have been a mountain lion, and he drug him up there. Oh, no. No. Ask them women what they saw. Ask them. They got pictures on their telephones. Ask them. He said, look, I'm not here to discuss this with you anymore.
Whoa.
Now, what is it you saw? And he made me appear like I was a liar, like I was nuts. And I took offense to that. And he's like, sir, now settle down or we can go downtown and talk about it. He did not care one bit. He didn't care what I saw. He did not care about it. I think that's the way he played, okay? Well, pretty soon, here comes two more. And I said, well, can't you just go up there and investigate it and see what knocked out? Limbs were broke everywhere. This pavilion's all busted up.
Mm-hmm.
You got tire rims, semi-tire rims in a tree 10 foot up that weigh probably 155, 160 pounds, you know? It's like, wait a minute. Okay, how did those get up there? Kids just vandalism. They just destroy everything. I could not believe what I was hearing. I was so mad. It's like, oh my God, you're not going to take any kind of report. Oh, I'll take a report and then I'll take your license. What? The only thing he cared about was how many mushrooms did we pick and did I have a commercial permit?
Right.
That's what he asked me. He did not care about my dog. He did not care about our well-being. He did not care what we saw. He did not care about anything. But yet, he would not go any farther into the woods by himself. Okay? I said, go ahead. Go down there and investigate then. Do your investigation. Because I'm telling you what I saw. Don't stand here. Look, I am an automotive engineer. I am highly educated. I didn't believe in it either. If you would have told me, 5 years before that, I was going to see Bigfoot, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I will. Okay, yeah, sure. Let me tell you, it exists. I don't care what anybody ever says to me about it. I know what I saw, okay? So there is no argument of they don't exist. Well, you better come up with a little bit more of an argument than that, okay?
Yeah, right.
because if you would have been there that day, you'd be the same way I am now. And, that's been, 12 years ago. And, I haven't been in the woods one day since.
Wow.
Don't care to.
Yeah.
Don't care to ever go back in the woods. None. And I live in Scottsburg, Oregon now, and we're surrounded by mountains and woods. Okay? But I won't go into the woods. I'll stay.
Yeah.
Okay? No way. No way at all. Okay? And because I know what's out there. I've seen it. Now, I believe they're migratory. They follow like where their food sources is. They go from north to south. That the salmon, the berries, whatever, the deer, the elk. I believe they're migratory, and I do believe that they do go underground where there's lava tubes and stuff. I do believe that. Okay, but how he just disappears, how I don't understand. I heard him kill my dog, and then it was dead silent, like it just disappeared, like he was. You know what I'm saying? I have so many questions that I'd like somebody to answer that they can't.
Absolutely, I'd be the same way. I'd be the same way, Mark. Yeah, I'm sorry you lost your dog.
Yeah, he's a good dog too. He would have died for me, and he did die for me. He died protecting us. Okay, well, you know what? Not one of them 9 women ever went back in the woods again. None of them. As a matter of fact, a lot of them went back to Mexico. Because this lady asked the lady that hired him, she's like, "What'd you do to him? I can't get him to work." Well, yeah, you won't. I'm not working for you anymore. I'm not working in the woods anymore. I don't do that anymore. Sorry. No, I used to love to camp. I used to love to go out and fish. I'd be at Spirit Lake out there in the middle of nowhere. I'd be, I'd go where no man would go. But not anymore.
Mark, sorry, is that Spirit Lake by Oak Ridge?
Yes. Okay. I used to love to go there. I used to love to go there.
Okay, so I have questions, Mark. We're gonna put a pin in that first. Did you ever see the photos that they took?
Yes. Like they were way down at the bottom of the hill, but you can see it. I mean, it looks like it's just a big gorilla is what it appears. That it had the cone head, like an acorn head, and no neck that I saw. I mean, there was hardly any neck. Okay, the arms were like down past his knees. That's what really got me, like how awkward he looked. Like he was. I mean, he moved like nothing I'd ever seen move, and fast. He was quick, and I mean, I think if he really wanted to, he could have gotten me really quick if he wouldn't have been afraid of that gun. But I know he's heard a gun because just the way he reacted when I shot it. Okay, and I knew I only had, the only way I was going to hurt him was a headshot, basically, and that's where I was heading. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to see him die. I don't think nothing like that should die. I think something like that should be studied.
Absolutely.
I think money, instead of wasting our money on bombing over there in Israel and Gaza and all that, and take that money and find out what are we seeing here. Okay, quit telling people they're fools, they're idiots. It's a bear. Well, when did Oregon get Kodiaks? Because that's about what it looked like.
Mark, did you happen to get any of the photos from those ladies?
I got some on my SIM card on my telephone, but okay, how do I put it? Okay, the phone died. Okay, the phone died.
Okay.
Well, the battery just went kaput. Well, the SIM card's there, but somebody said if you don't do it right, you're going to erase everything on that SIM card. I got the phone, and I want it professionally done. Okay, and I just haven't had it done. But I want it professionally done when it's done, because you might only get one shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I tried to download it on a computer once, and it acted like it was going to erase everything. And I yanked it. No. So that's why I want it professionally done. And I swear when I get it done, and it's going to be soon, because I want questions answered. I want somebody to tell me, where did this come from? Did we create this? Is this a man-made thing, or is this from 1,000 years ago that it's evolved and it's still around? Or because it looked like caveman gorilla. Does that make sense?
No, it totally does. And I hope that you are able to get the photos off of that SIM card. And definitely, I would love it if you keep me in the loop with what happens with that, Mark.
Are you going? You're going to the Bigfoot thing over in
I sure am.
in Oak Ridge, right?
Yep, I'll be there.
I'm going to look you up.
Oh.
I'm going to look you up if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It's okay if I do.
Yeah.
And okay, and when is that?
That is July. I want to say July 19th coming up is when it starts.
Okay, you know what? Then I'm going to put big effort into getting this thing developed.
Please.
And you're the only one I want to see. You're the only one I want to look at because I want you to tell me what you see.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
You tell me what you see.
Yes, sir.
When I look at it, I know what it was because so my opinion means nothing, as far as because I know what it was. But I want somebody that don't have no idea about nothing to look at that picture and tell me what it is. Okay, and I'm going to get it professionally done. Trust me.
Absolutely. Like try to get maybe print it out. Try to get the digital version. But I wanted to talk to you about Spirit Lake because Spirit Lake I've talked to a gentleman about, and they had some really intense Bigfoot sightings at that lake, which is pretty remote out there by Oak Ridge and McCready Springs.
I had 2 buddies that went up there and had the same thing.
No
okay,
way.
But I used to go up there all the time. I had problems with bears.
Okay.
But I never had a problem with Bigfoot or anything. But I had 2 buddies that went up there that they were literally scared out. They never saw anything. They just heard. Like
really?
It was, like it was, what's the word when he, what's the word? Like trying to get them, like trapping them.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're going to be with me at the Bigfoot thing. I'll have them tell you their little story because, they will. They will. This one will scare you.
Oh,
this one will scare you.
This is going to be the best. This is going to be intense.
I'm telling you, everything I'm telling you now is honest to God truth. I have no reason to lie. Why would I lie?
Oh, I know, Mark. I know. You are dead on.
I mean, to hear somebody tell you this, if somebody told me this, I'd be like, yeah, dude, you better go get some Valium and take a nap, okay? but what I'm telling you, every bit of it is a gospel truth. Every bit of it. And, I mean, I'll tell you the same story. You ask me next week to tell, and I'll tell you the exact same story. And it's not because I rehearse nothing. It's because it's all going through my brain. I mean, there's tons I've missed telling you, too,
sir,
you know?
Yep. Well, we'll talk about Oak Ridge.
Oh, buddy, I can't wait. I'm so glad. I am so glad that I met you. I am so glad because, I'll tell you, I just want questions. I want my government to answer my questions. And what I'd really like is if there's been a Bigfoot sighted there, wherever, just put up a sign that says, look, there's been a Bigfoot sighted here. So if you've got children, we're going to give you the option. You don't have to stay here. You can go down the road where it's not been sighted.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
But they need to put something up. I don't care what it is. Okay? I mean, they said, they can't say it exists because it'll ruin the timber industry. No, it won't. How's it going to ruin the timber industry? This thing migrates. It's not like it lives in one spot like the spotted owl does. Okay? I mean, the spotted owl lives in one area its whole life. A Bigfoot don't. I mean, I guess there are some that do, where they have the resources to live year round. But I think I'd probably say 9/10 of them migrate. Okay? And they got little clans. Okay? I mean, that's why they don't find a body. Because I guarantee you, somebody shoots one you better be prepared to take on about 8 or 10 of them because they're coming.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, they're
I agree
coming.
with you. Oh yeah.
Okay, that's why when one dies, its body is taken away. It's buried, or it's in a lava tube, or it's someplace. And one day somebody's going to start finding where they hid these things. Okay, we don't know why they bend sticks and have these tree things in the croppings out in the middle of the woods. We don't know none of that. Maybe that's their burial site. We don't know that. We have no clue. Nobody knows nothing about them because we don't take the time to study that. Okay, we don't care. It's like, I care. I want to know. Okay, why did he bend that branch like that? You know, why? Is that a direction? Does he want you to go that way, or is he telling other Bigfoots that go that way? Or yeah, I don't know. You know, I want to know, and I don't know. I've read every book I can, but nobody ever has none of the answers. It's all guess. You know, I don't know. It's just as many people have seen him. Now, tell me he doesn't exist. Really, how can you really look at somebody and say, "Oh no, he don't exist"?
Absolutely.
That's because you haven't seen him, and you're jealous because you haven't seen him. Okay,
Mark, if you haven't gotten your tickets to that festival yet, you can go when you get your tickets at SasquatchSummerfest.com for Oak Ridge. If you use code Bigfoot Society, which is 2 words, all capitals, you'll get 50% off the cost of the tickets. Okay.
Oh, no, I already got mine.
Oh, you already got them. Okay,
Yeah,
good. All right, cool.
I got them first day.
Right. So for people that haven't, but that are going to be.
Oh yeah, I'll tell my buddies because they
tell
haven't.
your buddies. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely will do that. Definitely will do that. Yes. So I you can take my story for what it's worth, but let me tell you, it's actual, it's factual. I got pictures. I just got to get it developed, and I will have it developed by then. I'll make it a point now that I've talked to you. I feel so much better getting it off my chest. You know, you can't tell nobody. You just can't tell somebody this story. They look at you like you're insane, but trust me, I'm a very educated person. I mean, I designed the chords and civics for 22 years, okay?
Oh, wow.
For Honda. So, I didn't want to see, I didn't ask to see this thing. I mean, that was the last thing in my mind was this thing coming out of the woods one day. I didn't even want to see it, okay? I was just trying to do my job, okay? And it just ruined my whole life.
Mark,
my whole life.
I'm looking forward to chatting with you more at Oak Ridge.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm glad you called in. I know this was extremely tough for you to share, but I'm glad you did. And we'll talk more later. My email is bigfootsociety@gmail.com. You can keep in touch with me that way.
Yes.
I'm just thankful that we got to talk tonight. And
Me too.
I'll talk to you later.
Me too. All right. Hey, listen, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. I feel so much better. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mark, for calling in. We'll be in touch, okay?
All right, buddy. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Holy mackerel. That was really wild. That was one of the most intense calls I've ever taken. And the story is going to continue at Sasquatch Summerfest in Oak Ridge if he gets those photos off of that SIM card. Frank, if you missed the first part of that, this is one where you need to catch the replay of any episode. You need to catch the replay to hear what happened. And I'll be talking to Mark's buddies about what they experienced up at Spirit Lake, which, if you remember, a week or so ago, we heard from a gentleman who had intense encounters up at Spirit Lake, Sasquatch encounters, and went up there with Autumn Williams. Mark, I could tell Mark was very I mean, if your dog got thrown up 12 feet in a tree, I would be emotionally done. Thank you, Mark. For those that are new, we've got 171 people here. This is Bigfoot Encounters Live. We do a live call-in show. This usually happens on Saturday nights at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, where it's happening on Sundays. So I appreciate you all being here at short notice. If you've got and let me make sure the phone is good to go here. If you've got a Bigfoot encounter you'd like to share, feel free to first go to bit.ly/Bigfoot form. And then after you fill out the form, which will allow me to record you and potentially use you for your call for the Bigfoot Society podcast, you'll then get a phone number to call at the very end. Let me double check everything here. Okay, just to make sure I haven't missed one. Thank you, Pat. Yep, hit the like button. Yeah, I mean, Mark, wild call. Thank you for sharing. We might actually, I might actually be able to see some Bigfoot pictures at Oak Ridge. Here we go. Let me know right away if you can hear it.
To send a voicemail, press.
Hi, this is Jeremiah.
Hey, Jeremiah.
Hi,
I wanted to give you. Yeah, I called you last night. I was trying to get on your show. I had a weird thing happen to me. I mean, I'm kind of scared to even tell people, to be honest with you. They're going to think I'm a nuttard. But, I mean, everybody that's on your show, a lot of people, if they don't understand Bigfoot, they think they're crazy, and that's not real. And it's a crazy-ass thing happened to me last week.
And real quick, before we get going, so first, if we can keep it as clean as we can, just because it is live and there are algorithms in play on YouTube. Thank you. And remind me of your name again, please.
Lindsay.
Lindsay, that's right. Yeah, I remember I was out doing some looking for Bigfoot, and I got your call. I was like, no way I'm getting calls when I'm out here and we're not even this is great. So this is a perfect place for you to share what's going on.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm nervous to tell anybody this. I've told one friend. I mean, I'm kind of nervous about this, but I'll go ahead and, because I don't want people making fun of me or make them think I'm calling in a fake story. I really don't know, but I've had three Bigfoot encounters in my life.
Sure.
Grand total in my lifetime.
You're in the right place to share what's going on. No one's going to make fun of you here, Lindsay. And I remember talking to you the first time. Actually, this is months ago, right?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Missouri. The one in Missouri, and then the one in the tree over here in Colorado.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So feel free to go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So I had a story. I called in. I started watching this show, and I think this is like the best show that, not to be weird, but I think it's like the best show that they've ever made on this show that we're on here. So in my entire life, I never believed in Bigfoot. Just to kind of recap, I thought that was a joke, never believed in it. And then I lived in Missouri during COVID, and my friends lived out in the middle of the woods, far outside of Kansas City, over by the river. There's a lot of sightings over there, and Parkland, Missouri. So I had multiple experiences over there. So then I came to Colorado. I've been here almost 4 years. I'm back home in Colorado, and I was at work. I work for a law firm, and it's surrounded by farms. It's a strange little nook. There's an area across from where I work, and it's a residential neighborhood. But I looked at Google after all this happened. I looked down, and it's on the other side of that neighborhood is nothing but farmland, and from where I live all the way over there, it's nothing but farmland for 20 minutes, and oil rigs and stuff like that, and fracking out there, but farms. So it is very remote. I did see that. I looked up at the tree. I saw the tree shaking very high up, like 200 feet up. And I thought it was a squirrel. And I thought, there's no squirrel that's going to shake the limb like that. And then I started staring. And all of a sudden, I said, these kids must be climbing the tree. And I said, oh, no, there's no kids who are going to climb 200 feet that high in this pine tree. Then I looked, and I swear I thought it was a monkey. And in my mind, you don't register. Your mind doesn't register. It really doesn't. Your mind is looking at this thing. It'd be like watching the World Trade Center fall. Your mind's like, is this a joke? Is this a movie? That's how you feel. So I saw the thing coming down. It looked like a giant monkey, like a 5 foot. I can't tell you because it was across the street how tall it was, but it was big. And then, it took me hours and hours to register what it was. And I ran out to my car and I grabbed binoculars because I watch eagles and stuff. If I see eagles, I pull my car over and I'll just kind of watch them when I go to work periodically. But so that happened. I called in the show, told my stories. They're a little bit more detailed. So this is several weeks ago that happened. I then go over to a neighborhood. I lived there for 20 years. It's the Front Range, Fort Collins, Colorado. It's not in town. It's the outskirts out there. And right a good couple miles west.
Sorry. What's the area? Sorry to interrupt.
Fort Collins,
Fort
Colorado?
Collins. Okay, thank you.
Fort Collins.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's 2 miles from the mountains. So this is the Front Range, and it's all, again, there's a wilderness protection area, a grassland protection area out there. So it's not cityfied per se. When I bought my house and built my house 20 years ago, that was out in the country. There's some build out there, but not much. So I took my dog over there to our old house, and I said, well, I'll take my dog to the park over there. It's not a lot of people. It's not very active where I could, have a little walk. So I took my dog for a walk, and there were little kids playing, like on the other side. We just passed these kids, and they were over there playing, 10 years old playing. And we walked ahead over, and I sat down, and my dog, he's small, he's tiny, he sits, and he's a little Pekingese. They have impeccable hearing. So he's sitting next to me, and all of a sudden I hear something fall out of the tree. And I swear, I thought it, your normal mind, oh, kids playing in the tree over there. It was a house. It wasn't near where those kids were, but it was a house. And I looked up, and this thing was big. I could hear the trees, all branches, boom, 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 crack, 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 crack. And then boom, you could hear this loud thump on the ground. And I looked up, there's a bunch of trees, and I looked up, and all the tree limbs were all shaking. Like, no, that's not a little kid that could move those trees like that. And I just stared over there, and there was nothing there. Nothing. And I, again, your mind's not thinking what it really is. Your mind can't, for some reason, maybe it's just me, I can't accept this. My mind is like, I don't know what that was. I couldn't see it. Where is it? Something huge fell out of the tree. I've lived here 20 years. It's not a bear. It was a house that had a fence around it. So I was like, in Boulder, they get a lot of bears that come into town there. Never in 20 years heard of bears coming in the neighborhood over there. So long story short, it was Saturday night. I came home. I turned your show on, and there was a lady on here. And I still hadn't decided, or whatever you want to call it. In my mind, I'm like, I don't know what that was. So I come and I listen to your show, and then there's a lady on here. She goes, and then it was a slap in the face for me. She goes, do you think these Bigfoot follow you around? Because this was in one state. And she sounded like me, because she's like, it seems like they follow you or something, or you're on their radar. I am American Indian. I look white. I'm pretty white looking. I have blue eyes and blonde hair, but my grandpa was American Indian, and I have 7 different tribes in my bloodlines. On my mom and dad's side, there's a bunch of American Indian in us, but I just thought you guys would find that to be interesting, along with David Pilates. One of his videos about the bow person was up in a tree with a bow, and she saw a thing like that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where you couldn't see it, the Predator movie.
Predator, yep.
Yeah. So all my years of research, like last time I was on here, I said I know an awful lot about things that I'm not willing to talk about just for my personal safety. I know an awful lot about these Bigfooty things. They do go up to I probably shouldn't even go down this road, but David Pilates got involved in my life because there was a little boy that came up missing at Poudre Canyon outside of Fort Collins.
Okay.
And it took me 8 years to research what happened to that little boy. And David Pilates made a movie about him.
Wow.
And I think his name was Jared. He was 3-4 years old. It took me 8 years to figure out what happened to that kid. And it's a super long story where it kind of affected me on a personal level, where people were coming to me trying to get me to give them money to find this kid. Anyway, this lady was arrested for doing that. She was trying to extort that little boy's dad and people like me.
Yep. Easy.
But David Pilates starts talking about at the end of that one. He made 2 movies for Missing 411, and at the end of that one, he's talking about how these things are invisible.
Mm-hmm.
They're invisible. They have a way to make themselves invisible. And like that man that was just on a minute ago, he said that thing just became invisible. How did it do that? And up in these missing people up in the mountains over here, the national parks have government bases underneath them. There's tunnels and underground bases, and that's one thing I don't really feel great about being on a live show and talking about that. But these people pop up missing, they never see them again, or they look at the area over and over and over looking for them, and then months later, the area that they looked at 5 times, there's the person. They're not with us anymore, but they find them usually in the rivers, face down, or lakes, or long story short, they have equipment and all that. And the one lady that was on your show was talking about how they have a thing, they can hit your ear, make you distorted, and make you have headaches and all that.
Exactly. The infrasound. Yeah, it's a terrible thing to have to deal with. I appreciate the conversation that we've had, Lindsay. It's a tricky conversation to have because doing this live on YouTube, there's a lot of things we have to be careful of having conversations about, or it could just kick us out. But I appreciate you calling back in to share, so you could share what you experienced in the Fort Collins area. That's very, very interesting how it is seeming to follow you because of your heritage.
Yeah, I don't know why it wants to bother me, but I do think they're real and they're out there, and people that try to come forward, they have people make fun of them, or their family and friends think they're crazy. I don't know. Until you experience it yourself, you don't believe in it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I totally
and
get
thank
it.
you for doing the show. Your show's great. I wish
Thank you.
I had a video for you. In some ways, I wish I had a video, and in some ways, I'm glad I don't.
Sounds good. That sounds good. Well, Lindsay, hope to hear again from you someday, and be safe out there.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
Have a good one. Thank you for calling in, Lindsay. That was great to hear from her again. I believe we might be having, let me check my email real quick. I think we just had another one be filled out. Let's see here. It's going to take a minute to check the forms here. Okay. All right. If someone is trying to call in right now, I should be able to receive it. If you want to go ahead and try to call in again, please. I see that you tried, but I don't have a way of calling you back. So please go ahead and try to call in. Phone lines are open right now. Hey, we've got Yaz was able to survive her solo trip in the mountains. I know that she was a little bit concerned about that, but I'm glad you're able to get through. No issues. Good stuff. We got Rhonda is here. Good to see you again, Rhonda. Yeah, man, we have had some wild calls tonight. We've had Mark call in from Oregon. We've had Lindsay call in about Fort Collins, Colorado area. We're just having a great time. Tons of people in the chat. Oh, here we go. Oh, snap. Okay, I'm going to call this person back right now. Actually, give me a minute, guys. This is a little bit, there's some tech stuff going on here, but we'll get through it. All right, let's try this.
Hello.
Hi, this is Jeremiah. Is this the individual that just tried to call me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Jeremiah?
Great. And who is this?
Rose.
Rose?
Yeah, grow as in grow a garden. Zay as in rhymes with Jose.
Thank you. So Groze, awesome. Well, thanks for calling in. I saw a transcription of your voicemail. It looks very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and I would love to have you share what you've experienced up there, Groze.
Wow, cool. It's true story. True stories.
Yes, sir.
When and what should I do?
So if you would like, I see you've got a few things you're calling in about from Northern California. I will go ahead and, sorry, I need to put on Do Not Disturb, a few people calling in. But yeah, I'll let you go ahead and share what you encountered up there, and the floor is yours.
Wow. Okay, cool. I'll do my best. I will start from the first experience and go through my list.
Yes, sir.
And tell it how it is. It happened many years ago up in Humboldt County, around 2000, 2001, somewhere right around there. There were over several years. I had several encounters. So, but when will this be partaking on your show?
So this is actually live right now on the show, and if people in the chat, if you could let me know if you can hear Groze right now. I just want to make sure that we can all hear you before we get going.
Okay.
So we'll give it a minute real quick. Just waiting for the chat to catch up here.
Okay.
Okay, we can hear you. So, all right, at this point, you have the go ahead. So this is live. Everyone can hear you on YouTube, and it is recorded for the podcast. But you are more than welcome to share what you've experienced up there in Humboldt County, California.
Okay. Well, I was up in Humboldt County. I moved up there in 1996, and I lived there till 2007. And I've always been interested in Sasquatch, so I knew that Humboldt County was a big Bigfoot area. There was lots of people's sightings that were reported that go back hundreds of years. Even when they were logging the place, the very first original loggers had lots of stories. But anyways, I was wanting to get out and hike around and look and see if I can't find any signs of Bigfoot or whatever. Actually, that day, I was not really actually out Bigfoot hunting. Of course not. I was out looking for a place to where I can grow some medicine, some cannabis. And I was in the woods.
Groze, sorry, real quick. This algorithm is so strong on this platform. If we can allude to it, but just not say it.
Okay.
That would be the best.
Okay.
Thank you. I just don't want us to get kicked off. Thank you, man.
For sure. I was hiking around, and I looked for the hardest to get to place where I could cross the stream. And I walked up to the stream and jumped over a few rocks, and there was a cliff across the stream, and I saw a big vine hanging down, so I figured I could use that as a rope to climb up the cliff, about a 20-foot cliff. So I did that. I shimmied up the top, and like I said, I was looking for the hardest place to get to because I didn't want anyone going near my area. So I was hiking through the bushes, and I heard this whistling. It was a quick, and I was like, wow, that sounded like a human. Literally sound like a person whistling, real crispy clear. And I heard it again, and I looked, and I didn't see nothing, so I kept walking. Then I heard another whistle on the other side of me. And I was like, I've been in them woods, in the redwoods. I lived out there for 6 months out in the woods with Earth First, North Coast Earth First. They're a group of people that save the redwoods from the loggers' illegal practices. Anyway, I recognize this as a human, because I've never heard a bird like that. So I thought to myself, maybe there's some growers around there and there are lookouts up in the trees or something. So I was looking around and kept walking, and then I heard more whistling. So I kind of froze and sat there. I sat down on some rocks. And then on the left side of me, I heard this tree shaking, and really, really violently. And I turned around, I looked, and a whole bunch of leaves fell to the ground. They were still falling as I looked. It was only being shaken for like 2 seconds. And I was like, whoa, all the branches were wiggling. And like I said, leaves by the hundreds came off the tree. And then I looked up in the crook of the tree, and I could see what looked to me like a red, furry, big, hairy orangutan is what I kind of was thinking I was looking at. And I could see its face, and I could see its belly, and it looked pregnant to me. Had a big, giant, pregnant belly. And I could see it looking right at me. And then it started to disappear. It started to like blend in and disappear. I could see bushes on the other side of it through its belly. What I was looking at was the big pregnant belly, and then next thing you know, it was disappearing. And all I could see was the face for the rest of the time, for the most part. And it never stopped looking at me. And then I heard more whistling coming down and some noise in the bushes up the hill. And it kept getting closer and closer. The whistle would end up like 10 seconds apart. The whistle would be 100 feet closer. And I was like, my God, am I tripping out here? This thing's starting to kind of freak me out. So I started getting scared, and I felt that the thing in the tree that was disappearing was very friendly or docile compared to the other energy I was getting from it was coming down the hill. So I just got up and left, and I just said, I'm out of here. I felt the major pressure. I felt kind of scared. So, and I was like, I was staring at this thing up in the tree the whole time, thinking, am I going crazy? Did I just see a female pregnant orangutan looking Bigfoot up in the tree disappear on me? So I just got up and I left. And then I was walking back down towards the stream, and I went back down the same route that went like a rope that went down to the stream, and I crossed the stream and I left. And then I drove about 4 miles down the road and saw this bridge that I'd been wanting to check out. So I pulled over and I wanted to look under the bridge. So I kind of went down the stream next to the bridge, and I made my way down right to the stream, to the creek, Elk River it's called, actually, right outside of Eureka. And next thing you know, I'm sitting there squatting down looking down, kind of kneeled over, looking at the river, looking for salmon or, some steelhead, just checking it out, see if I could see any fish. And I noticed the bridge was completely just overgrown. There was all these bushes that were pushed up against the bridge, like the river came down through a major storm and pushed a bunch of branches and trees up against the bridge. So you couldn't even see underneath the bridge. I couldn't see what was in there. And I was sitting there probably no more than 5 minutes when all of a sudden I heard 9 of the loudest grunts you've ever heard in your life. They just echoed from underneath the bridge, 20 feet away from me, 15, 20 feet away behind all these bushes where I, obstructing my view. And when I heard those grunts, it just froze me up. I felt it through my body. My bones shook. My head was just like, oh my God, what is going on? So I couldn't move. I sat there for about, I would say, at least 10 seconds, 20 seconds maybe, and in complete shock. And I was like, oh my God, that thing wants me out of here. It's definitely speaking to me or grunting at me, telling me, communicating me that it's not happy with my presence. So I was completely frozen. I couldn't move. I remember trying to think, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm vulnerable. I got to go back up this hill. And right then I heard in my mind, I heard this, get up, turn around, and run up the hill. And I couldn't do it. And I heard it like 3 times. Get up, turn around, run up the hill. Finally, I broke out of my temporary, paralyzation. So I stood up, turned around, and ran up the hill and got in my car, locked my doors, my truck, and so I left. And that was it for that experience.
Chris,
I had a couple other ones.
Do you mind if I ask you something real quick before you continue?
Yes.
I love the ones where people say it looked like an orangutan. That is so fascinating to me. And you said it actually started to disappear when in the trees? Like, was it fading out or it was just
fading out?
Really?
Yes, it was literally not moving at all. It was just all of a sudden becoming translucent.
Oh, wow.
Disappearing. Mainly the belly, and the neck was kind of, and her head was higher, obviously. The belly was huge. And next thing you know, I could see the bushes behind her, like right through her. It kind of cloaked out and became kind of like just invisible. So I could see the bushes behind her.
Did the face look like a orangutan as well?
Not as rounded and fully apish like an orangutan. The reason I first thought of an orangutan because of the color. It was red, thick hair. Yeah. But the face was very similar. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was very similar, but it was harder to see because it was a little more obscure, kind of right up against a tree, almost kind of trying to hide its head from me, poking out a little bit, but it couldn't hide it, the rest of its belly and everything. The way it was laying in the Y part of the tree, like 20 feet up in the tree, where it's a nook or a Y, But It definitely had that Cro-Magnon look, but it was probably 50 feet, 60 feet away, up, and 20 feet, 20, 30 feet up in the tree. So I really didn't get the greatest look at the face. I mean, I was staring at the face, but it was just, like I said, I could just see cheeks, the eyes. It looked like an orangutan, if you ask.
Absolutely.
If I were to give the best description.
Well, thank you. I just wanted to ask a quick question on that, but feel free to continue with the rest of what you were trying to share.
Yeah. All right. Another time, a friend of mine and I were parked right off the side of this ridge up in Bridgeville. It's in Humboldt County as well. And we just pulled over. We're looking over the edge, over the beautiful view. And next thing you know, I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and I see this big oak tree behind me, probably 30, 40 feet behind me, my car. And all of a sudden, I see this like blur, and it almost looked like a mirage or a heat coming off of, a roof or whatever. I seen this like weird thing going on. And right then I saw a Bigfoot come out of the tree, literally manifested from the tree, came out into its physical form in my mirror. And it looked me right in the mirror. And it went forward all the way, came out of the tree at ground level, just standing there. It just came out of the tree as if it were part of the tree. And then next thing you know, it was him. And he like glided up to my car. I didn't see his legs move, but it went like floated up to the back of my trunk, put his hands on my trunk, and bent over and looked right through my window, right at me through the rearview mirror. And I started telling the girl next to me, I'm like, oh my God, don't look, don't turn around, don't turn around, look in the mirror. I put her visor mirror down, and she's all, what's going on? I go, don't turn around, look in the mirror, look in the mirror. And she didn't know what I was saying. I was like, just look in the mirror. And I looked back in the mirror, and he was staring at her. She had long blonde dreads, and he was staring at her. And I could tell because he was looking at me, and then all his attention was on her hair.
Yeah. And
when I was telling him, I'm telling the girl, don't turn around, because I didn't want her to startle. I just wanted her to look in the mirror. So anyway, she didn't. I said it so quick, and it happened so quick. Next thing you know, he went backwards. I must have startled it a little bit. Or something, or for some reason it decided that was enough. It only lasted like 20 seconds. He was looking in the mirror on the hands on the back of my trunk, and then he went exactly in reverse, back up against the tree. I saw the heat signature again, that blurry, and he absorbed back into the tree, completely disappeared, became the tree again. So
Frank's got a good question real quick. Did the hair of the Bigfoot look like your girlfriend's hair in any way?
No.
Okay.
She had long blonde dreads, really blonde. The Bigfoot that came out of the tree was dark brown. He was almost black.
Okay. And
his face was fully hairy. I do not remember seeing his eyes. Unless they were, his face was fully hairy. I didn't see any skin. It was black face. So it was really hard for me to recall if I actually was looking into his eyeballs, unless they were dark. Okay. They were not bright color, yellow or gold or nothing, red, none of that. It was just really dark face. And he is probably, the same size as all the rest, 7 and 8 feet tall. He wasn't a monstrous, huge Arnold Schwarzenegger, physique. So I think it was probably an adolescent or mid-teen, whatever. It's just not full 8-10 footer. but a good 6.5, 7.5 feet tall, somewhere in there, because he was bent over. Look, anyways, we drove up the road right then, probably about a mile or two, and it was sprinkling a little bit. And we got out and looked at the trunk of the car, and it looked like a smeared handprint. And it was kind of oily too. I was like, what?
Oh, really? Wow.
And I looked at it and I was like, that looks like a handprint, but it was smeared, like it slipped up. And I do remember it looked oily. And so anyway, that was the extent of that one.
How
I
big?
explained to her what I saw, and she didn't see it. She couldn't figure out what was going on. She didn't see it, unfortunately.
How much bigger than your hand, or what was the size of the handprint roughly on?
Oh God, the size of a catcher's glove.
Okay, wow. Interesting.
With the fingers kind of smeared out, so I couldn't really make it out to look like an exact straight flat handprint. It was just looked like one, smeared,
And
like it, because it was sprinkling. It was wet.
right, and your girlfriend didn't see it at any time. She never saw it.
Nope.
Wow.
She never saw it.
Whew.
I don't even know if she believed me, because it happened so quick, and I told her, we took off, and I was all like frantic. But yeah, she didn't make anything. It was like nothing to her. She was like, wow, okay. And she probably thought I was seeing things. I started thinking I was seeing things for years.
Sure.
I was like, how can that have happened? Because at the point when that happened, I had never heard of him or of anybody's stories of saying that they're supernatural, or that they can disappear or appear. I had never heard of it at that point. And then after that happened, and I moved back down to LA County, YouTube and whatnot, I started watching it, and I started hearing people talk about it. I was like, oh my God, maybe I wasn't crazy. Maybe, that twice that I had seen a disappearing act. So I knew for sure that I was not by myself thinking that, I wasn't the only one that was thinking that they've seen the same thing, disappearing.
Oh, absolutely. And you should watch the Flash of Beauty documentaries if you haven't yet, on the Flash of Beauty.
Yes,
channel.
I have.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. But yeah, continue. Definitely.
Okay. And those are those two. And another time, I told you the three. Okay. The one under the bridge, he grunted at me. The one up in the tree disappeared. Excuse me. Okay, another time I was walking across this bridge. It was in the same area where I saw the orangutan looking one.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a small footbridge, probably 3 or 4 feet above the stream. And I've walked that foot trail before, and the bridge was wide open. But this time when I came to the bridge, it had a bunch of branches all over it, like a tree fell on it. And I was like, wow, that's kind of strange. So I was kind of walking across the bridge, stepping through the branches and up and over. And like I said, there was branches all over it. You couldn't walk, no way, just walk right down the bridge. You had to duck and step up and over. So I was doing that. And next thing you know, I was kind of hugging the left side of the bridge, and I fell off the bridge. Next thing you know, I'm laying down in the stream about 3 or 4 or 5 feet down below on my back. And as I was going down, I was like, oh my God, this is going to hurt, because I was free falling. And I landed, but I did not get hurt. Boom, I hit the rocks, and I was halfway in the water. I was soaked. And I was like, oh man. And I went to get up, and I was like, how the heck that happened? And I looked, and I felt like I just got pranked. I felt like I heard 2 youthful, giggling voices running down the stream, and they were invisible, but I heard them, and I looked, and I seen the footprints, their footsteps splashing as they were running down the stream. I seen water flying up, and I was like, did I just hear a couple of kids running down the stream? I was like, what the heck just happened? I'm still laying there. I've tried to pick myself up. I'm getting up out of the water. I'm like, where's my shoe? And I'm looking around, oh my God, I got to find my shoes. So I start looking in the water thinking it's going to be floating down the stream. It was just 5 or 7 feet wide, a few inches deep, you know, and, but it was running pretty good. So I was like, I got to find my shoe. I couldn't find my shoe. I looked all over standing there, looking under the bridge, went down. And like I said, I thought I saw splashing footprints, you know, kids, or it sounded to me like kids. And I instantly thought, like they got me. They pranked me. It was as if they had their hand up there as I stepped, and I stepped right into their palm of their hand, and they pulled me off the bridge. And so yanked my shoe off at the same time. So there I am looking for my shoe, couldn't find it. I ended up having to hobble all the way back to my car with one shoe on and one missing shoe. And that was it. I got back to my car, and another time, I didn't really say nothing to anyone about it. That I recall. You know, I may have brought it up to my friends, but they probably just like, dude, you're not again, you're nuts, you know, with your Bigfoot crap or whatever. But other times they were just, I can hear them screaming out by Bluff Creek.
Okay.
Out by
so I'm gonna jump in a little bit. So you've heard screaming and stuff by Bluff Creek?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, out there by the reservation there.
The
Hoopa Reservation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we were there at a music fest. It was called, I can't remember what it was called. Summerfest.
Okay.
And we were camped, parked down by the stream. And in fact, I think we were over by the Trinity River at that night, because we were camping all around. And one night it was just getting dark, and we heard these, like, across the river, a big part of the river, I think it was the Trinity River, probably 100 feet wide, 50, 60, 70 feet wide, the river itself. On the other side, it was fully big timber, full on forest, and we heard a big scream. And it was a long, blood-curdling, like a ow, screaming howl type.
Yeah.
And it lasted about 10 seconds. And then we heard right immediately after that, we heard another one further up the canyon. And when that ended, we heard another one way further up the mountains. And then another one even further up the mountains. And I was like, are those echoes? But they weren't. They're all like, no, those are different ones communicating back and forth. Like, oh my God, I was thinking of those. There's no hippie could scream that loud, you know,
Right.
who on up in the damn woods. And I could tell by the distance and how far and how muffled the next few were, that they were further way miles up the canyon. They were communicating. It was like a roll call or something. All of a sudden, they just decided to sound off. And probably at least heard 3 or 4, maybe 5 different screams. And they were all the same. The woman's blood-curdling scream.
That is incredible.
That you hear. Yeah.
Have you heard of any sightings in that area, in the Bluff Creek area?
Myself, no, not other than the original,
right?
Tate.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't know anyone from that area hardly at all. So I would just go out there with friends, you know, day hiking or to the music fest and hanging out and, you know, camping. But I didn't know anybody out there personally. I've been out there a few times. I lived in Arcata in Eureka, which is about 50 miles inland off the 299, just straight there. And it's between Redding and Humboldt, Eureka. Yeah. But other than that, I think that's the extent of them.
Grosse, fascinating accounts. I've hardly had any people that I've talked to from Humboldt County, and these are just fascinating accounts, especially from, you don't even hear a lot of them where it's like disappearing cloaking Bigfoot. People are afraid to talk about stuff like that, and I just want to thank
Yeah,
you for sharing what you've experienced.
Oh,
That's really
I
important.
just remembered another one.
Okay. Yeah.
It was what I guess people are calling getting zapped, hit by their
Yep.
by the frequency.
Absolutely.
That same bridge where I'd gone down that footbridge where I got my I lost my shoe and I fell off the bridge, whatever. Past that, a quarter mile or so, I went out there. I think it was after the shoe episode. I went out there again, and it was either before or after. I can't remember. Not important, but I went past the bridge probably for another 20 minutes walking, and I was in this big like field, and there was people with quads. I saw a guy riding by on a quad, and there was a big thick timber at ledge there. It was like a clear cut, and then the timber starts up again. Anyways, I was walking over towards that timber, towards the forest where it got real thick. I was probably 100 feet away from that big hedge where the main entrance to the, you know, the forest, the real thick timber. And all of a sudden I started getting really, I don't know, kind of like dizzy and sweaty and nauseous.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck's going on here? And I was like, oh my God, I literally got to stop walking. And my hands on my knees. And I was like, I got to sit down. I was like, started feeling sick. And I kept looking into the bushes, into the trees, into the redwoods there. And I was like, my God, it felt like something's in there that was causing this, this, I don't know, I just didn't feel too comfortable. So I was like, I don't want to sit down right here next to the dang trees. Because I'd gotten closer. I was about 100 feet away, and I was 50 feet, probably 20, 30 feet away from the trees. And I was like, I didn't want to sit down there, but I had to. I was completely done in. I don't know what it was, but I was nauseous. I was dizzy. I felt sick, sweaty. So I sat down, and that's when I saw the quad come by, and I was like, oh, my God, I almost wanted to signal the dude by holding my hand up because I couldn't get up. I was like, but then again, I was like, no, I don't want him to see me. And so I kind of laid down below the weed levels, you know, the level of the grass and whatnot. And then I was like, man, I better say something because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get up. Something I'm not feeling right. I feel like, what if I get stuck out here, you know? So anyway, I kept saying 5 minutes to myself. In 5 minutes, I'll make a hell of an effort to get up and walk out of here. And 5 minutes come by, and I was like, oh, my God, I can't do it. 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. And I got to get up. I got to get out of here. And I was feeling this pressure from the bushes behind me. And like I felt like I was being watched big time. And finally, I started feeling a little bit better. Or finally, I just got up and said, I felt kind of so paranoid from the presence that I was feeling in the bushes that I forced myself up. And I started walking, and I started feeling better, so I got out of there. Went back over the bridge, back to my car, got in my car and left. And I don't think I told anyone about that one either, which is strange, you know. I've kept a lot of this to myself, and then I have told my family and friends, and I don't know if they believe me. I don't have no reason to lie. I would no way make this stuff up. None of it, you know. And I just feel that people may have just like, all right, we believe you're okay. We believe that you believe it or something, you know. I don't know if people believe me or not, but anyway, yeah, I'm 100% believer that they're out there. They can,
absolutely,
they are supernatural, and they can do this, that, and the other, whatever. I do not doubt anybody's stories. When I hear anything, I don't think anyone would make up. I'm sure there's people that would go out of the way, but for the most part, I believe every one of the stories that I hear. Who's going to make these things up? Who's going to turn around and decide to become the one with a stupid story, a crazy experience, and then,
Sure.
have people perceive them as a nut. That's why I believe that these people aren't going to be making these stories up, no matter how crazy they are, how outlandish or whatever, because what I saw and what I believe what I saw and what I experienced, I know what I saw. I have to be able to have confidence in whatever I hear, that other people are going to tell their stories and their truths, and it can't be it's not something we're meant to understand. If we have that experience and it happens, you have to absorb it. You have to understand that experience is very profound to each one of us. So I like I said, I believe most of the stories that I hear of people tell. Not once do I think, oh, that guy's lying. That's outlandish, or that's impossible, or, from what I've seen, anything's possible.
Well, Groze, I'm just thankful that you were able to come forward and finally, share with a larger audience what you've encountered over the years. And, it's stories like these that really help listeners that might not be aware of things going on in their area, or that just need a little bit of a push to come forward themselves. And thank you so much for calling in.
You know what? I didn't mention, but I do think that the one that I saw, while they were whistling, the orangutan one, and then I left that area and I went down and had the bridge experience where they grunted at me. I think it was the same male, or the same one that was whistling that kind of scared me out of there, that came down when I was observing the one up in the tree. I think it beat me to the bridge down the road. I was driving probably 40, 50 miles an hour for like at least 5 miles. And this thing was there before me. And I have a feeling he either rushed down there or he just, did his supernatural appearance there. And I also had some experiences out here in Southern California in Lake Arrowhead. Last year, my son and I, we went out and we were hiking out in the mountains, and we thought we saw what was a mother with a baby on her back, on her shoulders, going from one side to the left to the right of her head. And this was probably an eighth of a mile away. We were up on a hill and we were looking down the hill, and it was right next to a tree. And I pointed it out. I said, that looks like a Bigfoot mother with a baby on her back. And for some crazy reason, I think that they know, once you've seen them, that I believe that there's something to it when they say you get tagged.
Yep.
I believe that it doesn't matter if they're a family unit, part of their immediate family, or if they migrate from Northern California or Southern California, it doesn't matter. I think that they know you regardless, or they can just pop up into your life supernaturally out of a tree or whatever, a portal, and they can pop up and reveal themselves and know that you share a memory and have history with them. For some reason, I have that feeling. And I believe I put a lot of time and thought into this all the time. I'm always like almost obsessed with wanting to see them again. And I believe I will have another chance and another experience to see one. I forgot I had another experience. I just remembered. I saw one not far from my house. And that's what makes me think that this one somehow, through the knowledge of just through their tribe or something, that this one, even though it had nothing to do with my experience up in Northern California, I think this one knew I was tagged and therefore was observing me. Now, this was out right by a dry riverbed, right over here, and close to a nuclear plant, San Onofre, and it's kind of desert area. There's the Camp Pendleton military property.
Okay.
That's where I was at. I was next to a big dried river stream, San Mateo Creek, and I was looking for rocks and agates, crystals, whatever, just kind of checking it out, see if I can't find anything in the stream or the dried riverbed. And I looked over and I saw this, what looked to me like a biker with the biggest head I've ever seen, and had cheekbones, probably a foot. His face was as big as a Frisbee. Tan, the most tannest person, like sunburnt tan I've ever seen. Big, giant, round cheeks, big, hairy beard coming off of his face. It had skin. It was totally tan and wrinkled, and long hair, kind of like a biker. And I was thinking, is this a human? And that has got to be the oldest, most leather-headed, leather-faced person I've ever seen in my life, was my first thought when I saw it. But his head was way too big. His eyes were way too wide apart. The facial features, the cheekbones were probably a foot apart. It was way too wide, way, way bigger than any human. And it was squatted down behind some bushes. All I could see was his head. And as soon as I saw it, I went, oh my God, this thing's watching me. It's watching me. And it saw me first, and I was like startled, and I was like, maybe this is some sort of homeless camp. And there's the oldest dude you ever seen living there with the biggest, tannest face on the face of this earth.
Right.
So I don't know if that was one of them or not. I just turned around and left. But yeah, that I have to say, my inclination is that yes, it was one, and it was a different type, or just an older one.
Sure.
More sunburnt, much older, because it had no hair on its face, just a big beard and goatee, and hair coming down its neck. I couldn't see how long his hair was in the back, but it was definitely silver and gray. And like I said, very, very, very tanned. So I've never seen anybody that tan in my life. That's the only reason I don't think it was a human.
Yeah.
And besides the fact that the face was huge, enormous. But other than that, yeah, I still want to go down there. I'm obsessed with just thinking, as I'm always being drawn, I got to go out there. I need to go find one. I need to go look. It's like they're calling me. They're like letting me know that they will show themselves. Like that female I saw with the baby on her neck, going back and forth. I felt that since I saw the pregnant one, they were showing me a baby with its mother. I know it sounds nuts.
Groze, I mean, you have some incredible encounters that you have shared tonight. I just want to thank you again for calling in, and please keep us in mind if there's anything in the future that you experience. Please feel free to reach out. But
right
again,
on.
just
well,
thank you for
Jeremiah.
calling
I appreciate your
in.
time. Yeah, thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
All right.
Wow.
Well, I hope that we be in touch at a later time, and have a great night, sir.
Okay, you too. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Wow. What a incredible night. A few things, housekeeping. So if you're in the Patreon, it doesn't get you badges on YouTube. So if you want a badge on YouTube, you have to become a YouTube channel member, and you can get a badge for, it's like 99 cents a month if you want to have a badge on there. Also, yeah, I am working with Yaz. She's having some weird stuff go down, so we're trying to get her squared away. Let's take another one.
To accept, press 1. To send a...
Hi, this is Jeremiah.
Hey, Jeremiah. Glad I got you. I just wanted to call in, man, and say I appreciate your work. And I just got out from Georgia, back in Texas now. But I just got out from Georgia with a trip with my woman. She stays out there, and we actually tried to find a couple of the Bigfoot museums. But I just wanted to call in and say, for the people that do have experiences, man, people believe y'all. And I believe with the times right now, the world is changing. And just, I don't want to get into all that, frequency stuff, but people's minds are changing. So don't ever feel, down on yourselves for how you feel or how you may get backlash, because it's all a part of it. And also the people who want to kind of understand, in my perspective, the type of traits that they have or where they come from. These things have been around for a long time. I know if anybody is on here, we're all a part of the community in some way or form, and we all understand that they were around when the natives were here. And I'd like to shed people's lights on, like, how the Book of Enoch, I don't want to get too deep, but the Book of Enoch and the fallen and their procreations with women here. And I believe that also they come from Nephilims, and they're a part of a type of, I think they're a type of family bloodline. And then I have other documentaries that told me about, like, the natives, certain natives that know that their heritage were helped way back in the day to move on certain parts of the land, move away when lands got famished and the whole tribe needed to move, or other things. So I just want to let people know that the government knows this, and other people know it. People are waking up, and there's a lot of stories out there. So I appreciate your time. I don't want to take up everybody's time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling it. All right. So it's been a wild night tonight. Its phone lines are still open. I'm still going to go for a little bit longer. If you have an actual Bigfoot encounter to share, you're welcome to fill out the guest release, which is bit.ly/Bigfoot form, and then you'll get the phone number to call in. I'm going to give you a few more minutes. It was an extremely late, my goodness, I was up until 2:30 this morning. Talk more about that later. Not tonight. Yeah, it was a wild weekend. Went out in the field. It is pretty wild. We'll talk about it later. I'm gonna double check just to make sure no one else. And I do want to shout out real quick. Thank you to Jerry, who became a Patreon member during the live. Thank you very much. That is much appreciated. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in there. Good stuff in the Patreon. It is a fun time. Yes, my kid did enjoy it, and some wild stuff happened. All will be revealed in a few days. Just make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, and we'll get it out there. I just need more time to do everything that I would like to do. I believe, let me refresh the email one more time just to make sure no one just is trying to sneak in here at the end. I appreciate you all hanging out tonight. We've had over 200 most of the night. Massive amount of people, and wow, these are probably some of the best call-ins. I mean, yeah, I'm laughing at Tate's comment. These are some of the best call-ins that we've had for, I mean, probably the whole show. The first caller, I will never forget, Mark, and I look forward to talking to Mark at Sasquatch Summerfest in Oak Ridge, Oregon, July 19th. You can get 50% off your tickets using code Bigfoot Society, 2 words, SasquatchSummerfest.com. I am going to go ahead, and we are going to go ahead and shut it down just because it's getting late. It's been over 2 hours, but man, the community that's starting to happen in this group is incredible. Make sure that you're subscribed to Bigfoot Society on the podcast platform that you like to listen to podcasts at. Put out tons of episodes. Make sure you're subscribed on the YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon to make sure that you get notifications. Share this with all your friends. We are on the road to going full time. It will happen. It will happen, guys. Also, if you'd like to go further with the show, if you'd like a members only episode, extra content every week, you can become a Patreon member over at patreon.com/the Bigfoot Society. You can also get extra episodes here on YouTube at becoming a YouTube channel member and get a fun badge to kind of make you stand out in the chat. Just hit the join button. Just bring up the YouTube channel on a browser on your computer and hit the join button. Good job. Do more shows, bro. I got you. Yep. Make sure you're subscribed. There's some cool stuff coming out. Appreciate you all. I will chat with you next time. Hope to see you back next week, Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and some good podcasts coming your way. Have a good one. Peace, guys.